Paper Mario Sticker Star is a game that on its surface is pretty bad, but once you look under the hood, it's even worse. But that's kind of why I like it. One of my biggest gripes with this game is that it has a gimmick of one-time use attacks, and then proceeds to give you literal hundreds of copies of the same sticker, basically making the one-time use aspect pointless. Especially with thing stickers, I find it incredibly dumb just how easy it is to replenish these single sticker win buttons. So I decided to fix that. I'm making every sticker a one-time use, meaning that if I ever use a specific type of sticker, I will not be allowed to use that sticker for the rest of the playthrough. For example, after collecting a few stickers around Decalburg, I end up using a regular hammer and a worn-out jump sticker to defeat the Goombas in our first area. That means that for the rest of the playthrough, I can never use those two stickers again. We can keep track of these in my nifty sticker book that I have. I head to 1-1, and while I'm there, grab a shiny hammer sticker. While there are many variations of stickers, like hop slippers, slap hammers, and the yeek hammers, just about every sticker in the game has a shiny and a flashy variant. These variants generally deal extra damage, or heal more in the case of mushrooms. I will be counting these variants as completely different stickers, cause like, they are. We head further in the level and find our last type of sticker. This is a thing sticker. These are field wiping powerhouses that I will be allowing because it is essential that I get as many stickers as I possibly can in this playthrough. I do, however, have to immediately use the scissors on Bowser Jr., as it is the only way to win this fight. I will also be showing the thing stickers in their own album just to keep things organized. So after defeating Bowser Jr., I carry on and find this stump, which allows me to upgrade a regular jump sticker into a shiny jump. I then walk into a room, and I find some scissors. Now, I obviously can't use these again, but they will come in handy later, so I keep them around. Against the 3 spiny Goombas at the end of the level, I use a shiny hammer to kill the first 2, and then use an eek hammer to finish off the last one. In 1-2, I grab a fire flower and an ice flower and an iron boot sticker. I also pick up a fan thing and pay off these Goombas to save the Toad. You don't expect me to fight these guys and waste a precious sticker now, do you? The Toad gives me a Cadillac, and I continue on. I grab a shiny hop slipper and then begin battle against 5 Goombas. Now, this would honestly be a pretty annoying fight for us in our current situation, as it would take some valuable stickers to defeat these Goombas. But there is one last thing this game adds to our arsenal. The Battle Spinner. The spinner, when lined up 3 in a row, gives Mario 3 sticker uses in a turn, but also gives varying effects based on which 3 were lined up. The 3 that we care about are the Flower, the Lightning, and the Pow Block. These each deal 3 damage to all enemies in the fight to varying degrees. But this still poses an issue, as you can't just skip turns in this game. You are required to use a sticker every turn, which means this isn't actually that useful. Except there actually is a way to skip turns. By clicking the run option, you can throw away your turn by attempting to run and failing. So, by getting a fire flower spin, skipping our turn, and then hitting a pow spin, I beat the fight without a single sticker. In our next level, I run into Kamek and begin battle. But with our newfound knowledge of skipping turns, I hit a pow bingo to hit the Goombas and then run to skip the turn. Except I actually ran away. Now I know what you're thinking, of course you did, you hit the action command to leave. Except, there isn't a run action command. The screen getting darker does nothing to assist you in running when you mash. It's just a visual thing. So this means that we are at the whims of RNG if we want to skip a turn using this strategy. So with that in mind, I head back into the fight and am actually able to take out the 2 Goombas with some pow bingos, and then I use a hop slipper to deal 20 damage to take out Kamek. After defeating Kamek, I grab a hurl hammer and a pow block and head to the next level. There isn't really anything to do here, but I do grab a shiny hurl hammer and a shell. I then head back to 1-3 and find that interesting Bowser statue again, and I take his faucet. I walk to 1-4 to grab a line jump and a shiny line jump, and instead of fighting the big buzzy beetle, I just skip the level entirely by going around it. I head to 1-6, and on the way through the level, I am required to place 2 stickers on these vents in the back to continue through the level. While it might be possible to complete this challenge while still counting these placed stickers as used stickers, for my own sanity, I decided to not worry about placing stickers in the overworld for the sake of progression. I grab a flashy jump sticker and head to the World 1 boss. Now here's the thing. I could probably beat this guy right now if I really wanted to, but I worry that I would use more stickers than I am wanting to, so instead I create a trumpet sticker and then open up both World 2 and World 3. In World 2, I pay to save another toad and get nothing useful from him. I do, however, get a flashy slap hammer and a flashy regular hammer. I grab a 1-up mushroom and a can of soda and then head to the end of the level. In 2-2, I head to the end of the level where I fight 3 paratroopers. I decide the best course of action is to hit them with lightning, then shiny line jump to kill all but the last one. But with only 2 health remaining, I just finish him off with my worn out hammer that I have been trying to get rid of. I also grab a light bulb and then run into Kamek again. This time, Kamek turns all of our stickers into these sandal stickers. But wait, these are literally all new stickers. Kamek just made this so easy for us. I use a single flashy sandal sticker and finish the fight. After finishing the level, I decide to head to World 3 instead. And while there isn't much in this first level, I do end up running into the Boomerang Bros at the end. But I easily defeat them with a power block to crumple them and a hurl hammer to deal the finishing blow. From defeating them, I gain some boomerang stickers, and while these aren't very powerful, they do give me another variant of sticker to use in this playthrough. I head to Wiggler's treehouse and inside find a high heel and a boombox. I talk to Wiggler, then head to 3-4. While here, I run around to find the Wiggler piece and enter combat with it. I hit him with a power block bingo in an attempt to crumple him since he can dodge attacks if he isn't crumpled. He doesn't get crumpled, however, so I have to run to skip the turn to try to crumple him again. Wait, you can't run from Wiggler pieces? Like you can't even select the run option? Well, that means for specifically these Wiggler fights, I have to leave the game entirely and redo the level to get another chance at crumpling him. So eventually, after resetting a couple times, I do land the crumple and then just slap hammer to finish the fight. I am now able to reach Outlook Point, and this gives us access to a couple new, more powerful big shiny stickers. I also get access to the secret door sticker. This sticker simply gives you a guaranteed run button in combat. However, this sticker also allows you to access hidden rooms that are completely inaccessible otherwise. Many of these rooms hold incredibly powerful things that I can turn into stickers, and since this isn't actually using the sticker in combat, I can theoretically open up all of these rooms. Except that's really boring. I mean, the main use of these door stickers are to open up these rooms. The guaranteed flee is basically just an added bonus. About half of the things in this game, and even a few regular stickers, are completely locked behind these doors. I think it would be much more interesting to only use the doors one time to open up a single room and never use it again. So without a second thought, I immediately use the sticker on the first door I see at Outlook Point and grab the hook thing. With our hook in hand, I take a quick trip to the harbor to grab a vacuum and to cut a rope with my scissors. I then head back to World 2, where I find a jackhammer, a magnifying glass, and a baseball bat. I make stickers out of my faucet and my vacuum and use them both to get through the next level, allowing me to reach both a required item and some shaved ice. This allows me to reach the final level of World 2, and I decide it's time for me to reach some of the new worlds. I head to Sling-A-Thing and make a couple of new stickers, namely a light bulb, a high heel, and a fish hook. I use the light bulb to reach the steering wheel, and then use the steering wheel to begin the Big Cheep Cheep section. I let the Big Cheep Cheep jump onto the dock and then first strike it to get some extra damage. I use a shiny slap hammer to bring it down below 50 HP, which causes it to jump in the water and heal itself. But I also use the fishhook on the same turn, forcing it out of the water and keeping it on the dock. I then use a couple flashy shoes, namely a flashy jump and some high heels, to do the 88 damage needed to kill him. And with good enough mashing, I was able to literally do exactly enough damage to kill the Cheep Cheep. This gives us access to Worlds 4 and 5, and I immediately head to World 4 where I find a shiny ice flower. There aren't any required fights here, so with some careful movement, I dodge past everything. The main event of this level is in this room, where by hitting the tree, you can start a small show in which Birdo is the star. Now, while we're watching this wonderful performance, I would love to remind you that you should definitely subscribe to the channel if you like Paper Mario, especially Sticker Star, because I'm currently gunning to be the biggest Sticker Star channel on YouTube, and I would also love to hit over 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Anyway, Birdo knocks down a goat thing for us, and with that acquired, we head to the end of the level. Sorry for all the jumping between worlds, by the way. I know it can be hard to follow, but while I was doing this, I was genuinely trying to get everything I possibly could before going to the harder levels so I could be sure I was doing them optimally. So anyway, we head back to World 3 and fall down a pit in which I lose all of my stickers. This doesn't really matter, but we do end up having to fight a big spider down here. The spider's web requires 4 attacks to take it down, so I use some of my weaker stickers to hit it, including a shell, a shiny POW block, and an ice flower. And finally, I use a normal jump sticker to fully knock down the web. This knocks the spider down, so I finish it off with a shiny jump sticker. It's crazy, but that was the highest number of stickers we had to use in a fight so far, and it was to something with 16 HP. I'll keep track of how many stickers were required for fights, and I'll update you at the end of the video on which fights took the most. I grab my hammer, Kirsty, and the Wiggler piece and head out. Wiggler runs off, and instead of chasing him, I decide it's actually time to fight a boss. I prepare by making our fan into a sticker, and while here, turn my jackhammer and my goat into stickers as well. I start the fight with a flashy slap hammer to bring his HP down enough to put him into phase 2. I then use a chill hammer on one turn, a boomerang on the next turn, and finally I use a line jump on the third. This was done to slowly whittle down his health, but to also increase the amount of turns that were taken, since this guy has a weakness that only appears after both taking a certain amount of damage and after a few turns have passed. After the Mega Sparkle Goomba attacks me with his ranged attacks, the Goombas are now in a more flimsy state, so I use the fan and blow them all into the sky. This separates all of them and lowers him down to 20 HP. I use a shiny iron jump to lower him down to his final phase, and with only 1 HP remaining, I finish him off with a POW spin, giving us our first royal sticker, and giving us more room in our sticker book. With World 1 finally done, I head back to World 3 to fight some more Wigglers. Thankfully, this one crumples first try, and I simply finish it with a hurl hammer. The next level has literally nothing interesting for us to do, so let's skip right on to Sniff It or Whiff It. Now, unlike my last challenge of not taking damage, this challenge lets me actually enjoy Sniff It or Whiff It to the fullest. So, after getting through all 3 games, I grab the radiator and then head further into Chapter 3, where I have to fight a Wiggler piece and 2 piranha plants. To defeat them, I POW bingo and then use a jackhammer to kill all 3. This gives me access to the bowling ball back here, and after turning it into a sticker, I nail the strike. This actually made me the winner of the entire bowling competition. So after picking up my bowling ball from the ball return, I go back to the ball's original location to get my trophy. I head to our final Wiggler fight and hit a bingo. I then use a shiny flower, hit a shock bingo, then use a shiny mushroom to waste 1 more turn, and hit a POW bingo to deal the final hit. After reuniting Wiggler, I now have access to the Chapter 3 boss. So with that in mind, I create a sticker out of my vacuum and a sponge I found earlier, and I go completely off course, and head to World 5. I have to kill some Shy Guys here to progress, and it was slightly difficult. Cornering this Shy Guy was really annoying, because usually I'd just kill all of the spear guys around him to make it easy, but that'd obviously be a waste of stickers, so I can't. But I do eventually manage to corner him and beat him by crumpling him with a POW bingo, and then hitting him with 2 shocks by failing 2 extra runs. The only other fight in this level comes after I use my vacuum in this room, but this Shy Guy is easily defeated with a first strike, a POW bingo, and a failed run, then another POW bingo. While here, I use some upgrade stumps to get both a shiny shell and a flashy shell. I also procure a flashy iron jump and a flashy POW block. In the next 2 levels, I'm on a raft where I get a rubber duck, and I have to deal with the big cheap chomp. After dealing with the big cheap chomp, I unlock the chomp ruins, but instead of going there, I decide to head to World 4 and use the radiator from Sniff It or Whiff It to melt the ice caps. This lets me continue on to future levels where I find a curling stone and a burn hammer. And now, the place that is the most insane location for this challenge, the Enig Mansion. This mansion has 100 boos scattered through it, which entails 14 total battles that are required for me to do here. That is going to be a lot of stickers. Thankfully, most fights can be taken out with just 1 decent sticker. For instance, these 3 boos holding furniture are taken out with a shiny shell, and this stack of 82 boos is taken out by an infinite jump sticker that I found right outside. The boo in the clock is also unable to be first struck, so to defeat it, I fire flower bingo, iron jump, and lightning bingo it. I also fight the crumpled trash can boo, but that's easily taken out with a bingo as well. Now the rest of these are actually going to come a little bit later because first I have some bosses to kill. Okay, so here's the thing. I went to go fight Gooper Blooper and I beat him, but I lost the footage of the entire fight. I do, however, thankfully, know exactly what stickers I ended up using for the fight thanks to me keeping track of my stickers as I played the game. And I actually had footage of me killing him. So there you go. I just don't have anything of the rest of the fight. It's really unfortunate that I lost that footage, but it works out. My next location was to go straight to the Chapter 2 boss, so I make a baseball bat sticker and head that way. Against this boss, there is a single win condition. Deal as much damage with the bat as possible. Every turn, the Pokey raises by one segment, and each of those segments can be hit individually with the baseball bat, dealing massive damage. This does, however, mean that I have to run and fail a bunch of times to do this. But actually, I only had to fail running 3 times because on my third one, I got crumpled by him, stunning me for a couple of extra free turns. And when I became free, there were 5 total segments. I crumple him with a Pow Bingo and use the bat to kill it with a total of 1 sticker. And I mean, look at this. Each of these hits is insane. I killed him before I even got to his head. Like, this is why this game is insane. Why do you just get to have this much damage? I don't understand. With Worlds 1, 2, and 3 completed, I start to head back to Worlds 4 and 5, but get stopped by Bowser Jr. He begins the battle with a bomb in his hands, which can be blown up if you jump on him. This does, however, also deal damage to you, which causes your action commands to cancel halfway. But with a clone jump that I got before leaving World 5 earlier, I can cancel out that negative and deal a ton of damage to Bowser Jr. while also blowing up the bomb on him. I then use the trophy from earlier to deal the remaining 41 damage and head to the Chomp Ruins. Inside, we get some really good stickers. By entering this hidden pipe, we can get 3 Mega Flash sticker variants of the Bah Hammer, the Hurl Hammer, and the Hop Slipper. I also get a big shiny Bah Hammer and a teapot. At the end of the level, I run into a sleeping Chain Chomp. To defeat this guy, I need to wait for him to wake up, and that takes a full 3 turns. Instead, I wake him up on turn 1 using our Trumpet Thing sticker, which just wakes him up immediately. I stock up on some Thing stickers and head to 5-5, where I use the Shaved Ice to freeze stuff and get through the level. Other than that, the only things I find here are a flashy Hop Slipper, a Car Sponge, a Mega Flash Slap Hammer, and a Mega Flash Iron Jump. Later, I do come back and get a Mega Flash Burn Hammer, I just kind of forgot to mention it. In the boss area of this world, Kirsty gets eaten, and we have to go through a few rooms to get to the boss. First, we dodge the Chain Chomp. Then, we have to use a Bah Hammer to put this Chain Chomp to sleep, and then free it. Then, we actually have to waste 3 turns to wait for him to wake up. And because he's asleep, we can't do this by running, since running will always work. So I do have to waste 3 stickers on this fight. I first waste a shiny leaf, since it literally does nothing. I then use a regular Ice Flower. Finally, I use my Powder Puff sticker to waste the final turn and don't take damage from the Chomp. After this, I get a Mega Flash Clone Jump from this chain, a shiny 1-up from this one, and knock the last Chain Chomp down. Now we are at the PD Piranha, and this fight is incredibly stupid. On turn 1, I use the Boombox to double my damage for 4 turns. Then, on the next turn, I use a flashy Pow Block to knock PD down and expose his belly. I then use a Mega Flash Clone Jump, and I deal literally 360 damage to this PD with a single attack sticker. Gosh, this game is stupid sometimes. Doing this much damage causes PD to spit up Kirsty, so with Kirsty back, I can now Battle Spin once again. I hit a Pow, and that just kills PD. So, with 4 of the 5 royal stickers, I do some exploring to grab some more good stickers. Namely, I grab the big flashy Infinijump and the Mega Flash Infinijump. Then I go collect a bunch of HP up hearts. For every 2 HP up hearts I get, my first strike damage increases by 1. With this in mind, I can get enough hearts to make my first strikes deal at least 9 damage. With a 9 damage first strike, I can deal half of a Boo's HP with a first strike, meaning it would only take 3 bingos to kill it. So, the first instance of this is with the Boo behind the Toad outside. I first strike to deal 10 damage, then hit a bingo, attempt to run, bingo, attempt to run again, and bingo one last time to use no stickers in the fight. I can use this same strategy against the Boo under the stairs, against the Boo outside where the Comet piece is, and against the Boo in the greenhouse. With that, there are just a few other fights to collect the rest of the Boos. There are 5 in this disco room that I kill with a flashy shell, 1 in the painting that I take out with a shiny Eek Hammer, 1 in the fridge that is killed with my flashy hammer, a gold boo that I take out with a flashy iron jump, and finally the fight versus the boo and two scaredly rats, in which I use my soda can, which is filled with suspiciously watercolored soda. With all of the boos collected, I head back downstairs and Kamek summons a big boo. Also, apparently Kamek can just stop time. Why doesn't he do this more? Anyway, against the big boo, I use a flashy hop slipper and a mega flash hurl hammer to deal just over perfect lethal. I get a piece of scrap, and with the scrap in hand, I head to the next level and go up the ski lift, and there's not really anything to do here, so we just head to the end of the level. Now, normally you can use a secret door here to skip this Shy Guy line, but since we already used it, I can't use a fast pass, and instead I have to wait in line like someone who doesn't have a fast pass. I couldn't think of anything better, man, I'm sorry. Once I reach the front, I jump over the railing to grab some sewing scissors and then get on the ride. There isn't anything of note in the first room, but in the second room, I grab a Mega Flash Chill Hammer, and then I continue on to the World 4 boss. The Bowser Snow statue has 400 HP and 4 separate phases, with 3 of them each having their own armor. Each set of armor can be instantly destroyed by any fire attack other than Fire Flower Bingos. I destroy the first phase with my Oven Thing sticker, and then use the Radiator to deal another massive chunk of damage, bringing him from 400 HP to 250. I then use a magnifying glass to melt the second set of armor and deal another 80 damage. This puts him into his final armor phase, so I use a Fire Flower and a Burn Hammer to bring him down to 114 HP. I hit him with a Fire Flower Bingo, which deals double damage, and then a Flashy Fire Flower to bring him down to his last phase. Then I use a Krilling Stone, bringing him down to 17 HP. With that, I use a Fire Flower Bingo to deal 6 damage, and then hit him for the remaining 11 with a Mega Flash Hammer, dealing perfect lethal. This gives us our final Royal sticker and unlocks an 8th page in our sticker book. After defeating the boss, I immediately go all the way back through the level to reach the Mega Flash line jump. Then I go on an absolute thing hunting spree to get every possible thing that I have access to. So I get another faucet, our third vacuum, a T-cell battery, a watch battery, a toy bat, a billiard ball, and a turkey. Once collecting all of these, I have access to World 6, and we only have 3 required fights left. The first is in 6-1, our final fight against Bowser Jr. On our way, we get a tail sticker, and I immediately use the sticker in the fight. I use it to deflect 3 spike balls back at Bowser Jr., dealing a ton of damage. He has a dome in this fight that gives him a ton of defense, but damage can only ever really be reduced to 1 unless it's with like an immunity. So I use a Mega Flash Iron Jump to deal a decent bit of damage, and then use a big shiny Infinite Jump to deal 100 single hits of 1 damage to him. And then finally I use my Mega Flash Hop Slipper to finish him off. And now, in preparation of the final fight, I get every available sticker. First, I turn all available things into stickers. Then I go to every shop and buy every big shiny variant that I have not used yet. I also go back to Outlook Point and get every kind of sticker available there. This includes tails, boots, and frog suits. Kamek is our second to last fight, and this fight can seem pretty annoying. He turns all of our stickers into sandals again, but this time does not leave any sparkle variants. Thankfully, this doesn't matter, since earlier I used the sparkling variants, and can now use all of the non-sparkling variants to deal with the fight. So I use a small sandal, a big sandal, and a mega sandal to beat Kamek. Now all that's left is Bowser. He begins by bringing a lot of guys to the fight, but I immediately staple them all and use the faucet to kill all of them. The stapler also closed the back doors, so enemies can't respawn. I then attempt a POW block bingo to crumple him, but it fails the crumple. But this fight is one of 2 in the game that allows you to click the run button, but doesn't ever let you succeed. So I can farm attempts to crumple him as many times as I want. So after eventually crumpling him, I use the Mega Flash Infinite Jump sticker to deal 300 damage. I then use a boot sticker to waste a turn just for funsies. He runs away and heals 99 HP, then spawns a big Womp. The big Womp can get knocked down by any kind of Eek Hammer, so I use a big shiny one. Then I use the sewing scissors to hit its weak point and one-shot it. This causes Bowser to run again, and this time to a place with pits of Podoboo-filled lava. At this point, I am trying to deal just as much damage as possible to get him into the next phase. So I begin by using the refrigerator to freeze all of the Podoboos while still damaging Bowser. This keeps me from taking any damage, and on the next turn, I use a shiny 1-up mushroom to give myself some regen, then hit him with a Mega Flash Burn Hammer. On the next turn, I crumple him with another Pow Bingo and use my Mega Flash Slap Hammer and Eek Hammer to bring him from 194 HP to 83. This causes him to run to his final phase, where he has a Chain Chomp pal. I equip the shiny tail sticker I bought earlier and deflect the Chain Chomp back at Bowser, knocking him near the edge of the tower. Bowser attacks me a few more times and then slips on a banana peel or something. I don't know, but he just falls off the edge after standing there for a full 10 seconds. And that ends the fight. Or so you thought. On turn 1, I accidentally land a Poison Shroom Bingo instead of any other kind of bingo and poison myself. So I use a 1-up mushroom and a Spiny Helmet. Next turn, I land a Fire Flower Bingo and fail to run. I didn't realize until a few turns in, but you actually have to use some stickers against Bowser for Kirsty to go on her spiel about not being powerful enough. So after using a big shiny Hurl Hammer, Kirsty finally comes out and becomes a sticker. So let's use her as a sticker. The Kirsty sticker allows you to use 5 stickers in a turn, and also removes Bowser's defense buff that this form gives. With so many more available turns, I use a big shiny Clone Jump, a watering can, the big shiny Slap Hammer, a watch battery, and the billiard ball, all back to back. This in total brings Bowser from 495 health to 312. He tries to fight back, but we have too much health for him to get through, so I start spamming my remaining thing stickers to defeat him, but we are starting to run low. I use my Cat of Luck, a rubber ducky, a battery, a toy bat, and the vacuum cleaner to bring him down to 192. On the next turn, I prep a Teapot, the Mega Flash Chill Hammer, and the Mega Flash Line Jump. The Teapot brings him down to 137 HP, and the Mega Flash Chill Hammer just kills him? So yeah, something I've learned from this fight is that the Mega Flash Chill and Burn Hammers are broken in this final fight, as unlike Thing Stickers, they actually hit each individual piece of Bowser. So instead of dealing just 64 damage, it dealt 64 times 3 damage, making this a fight that could theoretically have been done with 4 stickers total if I had still had the Mega Flash Burn Hammer. But yeah, with that, we did it. We made it to the end without ever using a duplicate sticker. So here are the stats.
In regards to which fight took the most stickers, that much is pretty obvious. The Bowser fight, if you include both sections, took 29 total stickers, and even if you split each section into its own fight, they still easily take the number 1 and 2 spots. So with that in mind, what other fights took a lot of stickers? Well, if we don't include the Bowser fights, third place goes to that one giant Scuttlebug. It forced a large amount of stickers by just having something that requires an amount of hits as opposed to an amount of damage. Second place was the Mega Sparkle Goomba with 6 stickers. I may have been able to do it in less, but I believe that it was done as efficiently as possible in the context of the playthrough. Finally, first place goes to Mr. Blizzard. 400 HP is a lot to get through, and even with his fire weakness, we still had to take at least 4 turns to deal with the fight. So yay for Mr. Blizzard! Overall, this challenge breathed some fresh life into the game for me. It was incredibly interesting and fun to actually have to strategize and carefully manage my resources throughout the game. It just makes me wish that there was something more like this in the base game. It would have been so good like this. Guess I'll just have to wait for them to do that in the remake.